Hello. Hi, guys. Happy Halloween. Do I have one on Instagram also?
No.
See if you can put one on. So on Facebook.
Oh, no.
I am the Queen of Hearts today, thanks to their fabulous Halloween filters.
I can restart this one. We can keep going.
Restart it. See if you can put one on me.
Okay.
So hi Facebook, how is it going? It is Live with Holly Wednesday. It is Halloween. It's spooky around here in Los Angeles. I took my dog for a walk last night and it was so much fun seeing all of the Halloween costumes. I absolutely love Halloween, so happy Halloween. And I unfortunately did not have enough bandwidth to come up with a great costume. So thanks to Facebook, I'm the Queen of Hearts for now. Although Cindy and Kia tell me they're gonna try and change me to Medusa, potentially. So anyway, how's it going? Today we are talking about, drumroll, the new rules of weight loss when you're strength training. Because that last little bit of the sentence throws a wrench. What am I hearing in the background? Is that outside?
It is outside.
What's that noise? It's like a television?
Huh?
Yeah, somebody's like television or something. We might have to close that. Because here's the deal. When you're strength training, it completely changes this concept of losing weight, right? Okay, so stop with me right now. If you are in that domain or that category of losing weight, okay, say yes, me, give me a thumbs up, like, whatever it may be. You're trying to lose weight, right? We got to get really crystal clear on how you're defining losing weight, because it really is just sort of this like generalized statement that we make. But the truth is, are you really trying to lose weight on the scale? Or are you wanting to get smaller and tighter and leaner and fitter? There really is a difference. And I know a lot of times we just say, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, right? You know in your mind what that means, but I gotta tell you, if you can actually get it really crystal clear in your brain what you mean by it, you're going to succeed so much faster. I can't tell you how many times I'll be working with one of my private coaching clients, will be 2 or 3 months into their program, and they'll be upset or frustrated because the scale is not going down. And I have even had several times where clients were really, really upset. Like they felt down about themselves. They felt that they were failing. They felt so frustrated. Why can't I lose weight? Why isn't the scale going down? I know their body composition is changing. So what I say is send me your progress photos. I want to look at your starting photos and your current photos. And every single time when I put those two pictures together, there is a remarkable transformation happening. This newer body is smaller and tighter and leaner. And so obviously we see that in the photos. But the scale isn't going down, right? And it is such a useless piece of information, the scale, if you're strength training. And so give me a yes if this applies to you. If you know what I'm talking about, please chime in and say hello. This is a really important conversation for me. And I think it's a very super critical, important conversation for you if you are trying to lose weight. So today what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to define what you mean by lose weight. And then I'm going to give you some guidelines on how to get there and also really how to work with your brain so that you are consciously using a certain kind of internal language. Because here is why. If you are saying, I am on a program to lose weight, or I'm trying to lose weight, or whatever the losing weight phrase is for you. If you are currently taking action to lose weight, is your actual goal to see the number go down on the scale? Is that your only focus point? Because if it is, I'm going to give you a list of instructions on how to make that happen. But if the truth is, what you actually want is to be tighter and leaner and lower body composition, you gotta forget the phrase losing weight, because you might not lose weight. And the truth is, the brain doesn't like that ambiguity. If you're saying every day, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm on a program to lose weight, or I'm eating a certain way to lose weight, or I'm exercising to lose weight, or I wanna lose weight, But if that's not what you're actually doing, if you're not actually looking at the scale to lose weight, if what you're wanting is to get leaner and change your body composition, the brain gets confused, and that's when you get upset when you don't see the scale number change. Because I can guarantee if you follow one of my programs, if you are in my coaching program, The Comeback, if you are following any strength training program with real emphasis, the scale might not change. That number on the scale might not go down, but you might get smaller. You're gonna notice that your jeans are bigger. You're gonna notice that your bras are looser. And that means that your body composition is changing, your body fat is coming down, and you're smaller. But the scale might actually be higher. So does it really matter if you lose weight? And I know this might be sort of like you know, getting really specific on our definition of things, but it's actually really critical. Things changed for me personally in my health and in my physique when I started rephrasing what I was doing. And I stopped saying, I need to lose weight, or I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm on a weight loss program. And I just simply started saying, my goal is to become more fit. And I'd like to be tighter. I'd like to be leaner. I'd like to fit into this pair of jeans. And I stopped looking at the scale. And I'll tell you, my happiness factor went up so much higher, because you will know if you close your eyes and you feel your body and you sense your body in your clothes, you know if you're making progress or not. So what difference does it make what the scale says? Especially if the scale doesn't start going down and that causes you to get upset or frustrated. That is just an exercise in frustration, right? Am I right, or what? I mean, it's really, really critical. So a lot of the women in my group coaching program, The Comeback, report this. A lot of women, specifically in the first 2 months, will say, I know my body is changing. I know I'm getting stronger, and my clothes are fitting bigger, but the scale hasn't changed. And so part of what we talk about inside of The Comeback is really learning this new language and these new rules of weight loss. Because once you do, you actually will start to succeed faster and better and more effortlessly. Success is going to actually be a joyful process. You're going to be able to make progress in a way that really feels good and sustainable, and it doesn't take such a tax or a hit on your mind or your emotions like it does. Because I know for so many of us, myself included, there were times when I was trying to lose weight. And I mean, gosh, I can remember like really getting obsessive over 2 or 3 pounds on the scale, and that I wouldn't consider it successful unless I hit under 120, 119. I needed to see 119. I needed to see 119. But the truth is, like, really, what does the number matter if I know that I'm getting smaller, tighter, leaner, right? So the new rules of weight loss now are, if you're strength training, you want to get really, really, really clear on what your exact goals are. And I'm going to get into 2 different ways of approaching this in a moment. If for real your goal is to see the number go down on the scale, then we're going to talk about a few parameters in a moment. Because I also want to honor those of you that it's important to see the scale go down. I'm not saying that if you're 50 pounds overweight, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to lose weight, okay? But you want to be really crystal clear on the definition of it and how it happens. Because if you are within, let's say, the first 6 months of really developing your strength training, language, and skills and abilities, the scale is not going to be your best marker for success. Once you if you've been consistently strength training and you're on a program that is 3 to 4 strength training workouts per week, and you do it consistently for at least 3 months, it's about the 3-month mark that you can then start looking towards the scale for the numbers to go down. But if you're on a long weight loss journey, let's say 50 pounds or more, or 40 pounds, right? I'm talking more than 5 or 10 pounds here. If you have a longer term weight loss journey and your strength training, do not even look at the scale in the first 3 months if you are serious about your strength training, okay? Don't even look at that scale because you're gonna be adding muscle. And we want you to be adding muscle because the muscle is going to take off the fat. And depending on how little muscle you have, it might take you longer than 3 months to get your muscle up to where you need it. Then what happens is your body weight is going to stabilize and all of that amazing magical muscle is going to burn off the body fat, and then the scale is going to start to come down while you keep your lean muscle mass up. Is this resonating? Tell me what's up. Who's with me today? Does this make sense to you guys? Please, if you're joining me for the first time, I hope you'll introduce yourself and say hello for real. The reason why I do this live with Holly every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern is because I want to share concepts with you. I want to bring you new information, and I want to give you access to me for your questions and comments and thoughts. And so if you have questions specifically about today's topic, go ahead and log them in. I've got Cindy behind the phones. We're live on Instagram and Facebook. And if you just want to say hi, please say hi. And if you have questions that aren't related to today's topic, that's cool too. Just type them in now.
Hope the Geekster says super excited about this talk.
Yay!
We got a thumbs up from Fine Piece with Food.
Yay, hi.
Fine Piece with Food said, yes, totally agree with you. Scale doesn't matter. How do you feel?
Yep.
How do your clothes fit?
Yep.
FYI, loving the interim workout.
Oh, good. Thank you for that shout out on Instagram. That was so sweet of you. I loved seeing that. I was like, I had to look at the picture and I was like, wait, which program is she doing? Because it looks like the comeback programming. And I'm like, she's not in the comeback. And then I was like, oh, it's the interim. I'm so glad you're doing that. It's such a good program.
Allie Fisher said, this is totally hitting home for me. The scale gets me down all the time.
I know.
So I really try to ignore it.
Good job.
And then over here, Stephen Living said, happy Halloween, Holly Perkins.
Do I still have my outfit on?
No, we took it off.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did people like it?
No.
They didn't?
Well, they didn't say anything, so I took it off. Maybe they can't see it. Who knows?
Maybe.
So living from Living's here from Dustin, Louisiana.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Dustin.
Awesome. Hello,
Gina's
Louisiana.
with us.
Who?
Gina.
Hi.
Samantha Adams is here with us.
Hi.
Karen Kapara said hi.
Hi.
Jennifer G said hi, Holly and gals. Hello. Samantha Adams said, I struggle with this.
I know.
Janet said, I'm one of those people who weighs myself every day. I know.
So Janet, let's talk about this. Tell me why. Tell me, I want to hear, because I know that really, I don't think weight loss is one of your goals. I don't think. I mean, certainly I know that you're in the ballpark of a healthy body weight. So tell us if you're open to sharing, and if not, no worries. But I'm curious why you weigh yourself each day.
Here's the rest of the comment.
Good.
Because I can read it.
Okay.
She said, I'm one of those people who weigh themselves every day. I know. And although the scale isn't really moving much, I've continued to get smaller. Okay. And I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to macros lately either.
Okay.
People are commenting that I'm getting skinny, and
Amazing.
I just sing your song of strength training is everything.
It is everything. I love that. That's amazing. So guys, Janet is in the comeback, and she followed the comeback programming for her strength training workout.
And Janet said costume was cute but distracting. So.
Okay, good. Thank you for that feedback. All right. I think so too, but all right. So that's exactly what we're talking about here. So now if you are like Janet, if you're within, let's say, 5 or 10 pounds of your goal body weight, okay, which Janet was when she started the comeback, this really applies. And like she just said, Janet weighs herself every single day. The scale's not changing, but she knows she's getting smaller. People are commenting that she looks skinnier. She knows that her body has changed, right? And therefore, does it matter that the scale isn't changing? It shouldn't if Janet is happy with where her body is, right? So now I said a few moments ago, there are some people that do need to lose weight on the scale. And I also honor that because there is something so powerful and empowering for women when we do lose the weight. It is important to lose the weight on the scale if you're in that category of needing to lose 30, 40, 50 or more pounds. You do need to lose the weight on the scale. And so I'm not saying to disregard the scale. What we're talking about today is to be really clear on what your strategy is and what the sentences you're speaking in your mind are, because that's going to dictate how this goes. The name of the game is to get smaller and tighter and leaner, and depending on how much weight you have to lose, yes, eventually the scale will start to come down, but it's not going to come down until you've got all that muscle mass that you need to burn off that body fat. I'm a proponent of using strength training to increase your lean muscle mass, to get you up to where you gotta be. And that might mean the scale doesn't change. That might even mean, for me, the scale went up, but I didn't care because I was still fitting into the jeans that I like the way they fit, right? So now I really just judge my body fat by how my jeans are fitting. And I know that if those jeans feel good, I'm where I wanna be. And I don't ever step on the scale. I don't even know where my scale is anymore. Is it in the closet? Did we put it in the closet? I was one of those people. I used to weigh myself every single morning.
I think it's still there behind.
It's not in the bathroom.
Behind the thingy?
I don't think it's in the bathroom because I looked behind there today. See, I don't even know where my scale is, guys.
I don't even have a scale.
Yeah, I mean, it's so liberating to not worry about it anymore.
Just weigh yourself when you get to your doctor checkups.
Yeah, and I do think, I will say, for those of you that have 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds to lose, which some people do, you do want to look at, but it can't be a daily thing because it will drive you bonkers. For any of us, whatever our weight loss journey is, watching it every single day can drive you bonkers. If it doesn't drive you bonkers, it serves as a useful metric, okay? So part of what we're talking about today is getting clear on this whole conversation. So there have been times for me personally where I wanted to get the scale to a certain place and I would weigh myself each day, but it didn't upset me. It didn't bother me if the scale was fluctuating. I looked at it really more as, feedback and information. And so I found it useful because for a period of time, when I would monitor my body weight, it would give me feedback too. If I had sushi last night, the scale would go up. Or if I had soup for lunch, it would give me an indication that maybe there was too much salt in that scoop and that soup, and that's why my body weight is a little bit higher. So there is a value in weighing yourself if you do need to lose weight. But the thing is, it cannot be linked to this emotional sense of success. It really just has to be a piece of information and some feedback that literally just helps you to know if you're on the right track or not. Now, the conversation today is the new rules of weight loss when strength training, because if you are within the first 6 months of a dedicated strength training program, if you are within the first 6 months of a real dedicated strength training program and it's new for you, the scale isn't going to be your best metric because you're going to be adding muscle at the same rate that you're losing body fat. And so what happens is while these two things are changing, the scale might not change. The scale might go up a little, the scale might go down a little bit. But as you're bringing that lean muscle mass up, right, it's going to bring the body fat down and you are going to be a smaller, compact person at the same exact body weight. And that's where I am now. So when I take my muscle up and my body fat comes down, the scale doesn't change at all. It stays exactly the same because I know my muscle is coming up and the body fat is coming down, right? And that is most important when you're strength training. Now, if you are only concerned The only thing you care about is seeing the scale move, okay? For example, I have worked with clients who are 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight. They are in the category where they need to take weight off because it's a matter of life and death. It really is a function of their health. And there are times when it is supremely important to just get some weight off on the scale, okay? So there's a specific strategy that we follow in that circumstance because it's almost as though we don't want to forego those first 6 months to bring the body fat down. We want to get the body fat down, then we can shift gears and take the lean muscle mass up and the weight might stabilize for a period of time. So what I'm going to talk about is these two different strategies. And so what I want you to do in the back of your head, I want you to really ask yourself, for real, what is your topmost priority? Is the number one priority, most important thing, to see the number on the scale go down? Yes or no for yourself. And you can type it in and share with us if you want. I would love to hear from you. Or is your goal more long-term? Is it that you want to be stronger? Is it that you want to be leaner? Is it that you want to be more energized, more fit? Is your goal primarily fitness, health, more graceful aging, athleticism? If that is your goal, we have a different strategy. And I want you to make a mental note which one you fall into, okay? Because I'm gonna approach your strength training based on those very differently. And now remember, if your goal, if your primary priority is really just to get the scale down, I honor you in that. And I'm gonna give you some direction on how to do it. The very first awesome thing that you want to do is go visit my blog, hollyperkins.com/blog. We will put that link at the top in the Facebook feed here so you can click straight to today's blog. On Instagram, you can click the link in my bio. There will be a tab that says blog. On Facebook, you're going to literally just click that link that we're going to type in and you can visit the blog that way. On today's blog, I'm giving you a strength training program and workout for those of you that just want to get that scale down. If your priority, if your number one, immediate, most important concern is to get the scale coming down, you want to follow a very specific type of strength training program. And I am giving you one for free on today's blog. So make sure you click through and check that out. If alternatively, your goal is a little different and it's not just to lose weight, I'm going to make some other recommendations. But basically, the overarching difference is this. Strength training has to be in the picture for everyone. Okay, I'm going to share a little personal story for you here. I'm entering that stage in life where my parents are getting older and my mom is really having some very substantial health issues. And just yesterday, she had to call 911 and take an ambulance to the hospital because she was in excruciating pain in her upper body. So after lots of tests and MRIs and x-rays, it was determined that she has 3 fractured vertebrae in her thoracic spine simply from osteoporosis and being inactive. It's called a compression fracture. And it's literally a fracture in 4 vertebrae simply from the compression of life, from gravity. Because her osteoporosis has gotten to the point where her bones are so weakened by, on one part, a life of inactivity and also from some medication she's been on. But because her bones aren't strong anymore, that they are literally just breaking because of gravity. And my mom is not that old. And so to me, it's like, I see that and it's like firsthand in my own family, even more so, I get real hot and fiery about the fact that we all need to be strength training because we all at some point are facing the risks of aging. We are facing the risks of osteoporosis and weakened bones for a variety of reasons. And strength training, as we all know, has been proven over and over and over and over that it is one of the it might even be the number one recommendation for bone health beyond nutrition. Obviously, nutrition is super important, but there are some doctors that actually even believe that weight bearing and strength training is more important than trying to get calcium from yogurt, right? Because your body will actually strengthen bones simply from impact exercise. So the whole point of this story is to say, no matter what your goals are, every one of us must be strength training. The question is, to what degree or to what degree are you strength training? And that's where this conversation falls in line for the new rules of weight loss when strength training. So if your primary goal, if your top priority is to just get the scale moving, take off 30, 40, 50 pounds, you need to get the weight moving, you have to be strength training. But in this situation, it's possible that keeping your strength training to the bare minimum is actually going to help facilitate the scale moving, okay? So in this case, when I have a client comes to me that needs to lose 100 pounds, I will only have them strength training 2 times a week, maybe 3 times a week, because we don't want a whole lot of lean muscle mass. We just want to get the scale moving downward. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this approach for a million reasons, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I also to the best of my ability, I want to be balanced and objective in sharing information with you guys. So this concept that I'm sharing with you right now, in the event that you do have a lot of weight to lose, this concept is exactly what all of the doctors and athletic trainers under the Biggest Loser philosophy follow. So if you've watched The Biggest Loser, which most of us have, I think it's a brilliant show, and I'm so thankful for what it's done around the consciousness of weight loss in America and beyond. But I know trainers that are on the ranch. I know a lot about the medical programming at the ranch, and their whole strategy specifically during the show is they don't want the contestants doing a lot of strength training because it causes the scale to go up. And so I don't necessarily agree with this approach, but it is a competition show, and their whole goal is to try to get someone to lose 20 pounds in a week. You can't lose 20 pounds in a week if you're strength training. And so what they do in the phases of competition is they limit the amount of strength training they're doing because they want the scale to go down. They actually want some atrophy, and they want the weight loss to be coming only from body fat, and they want the scale to be coming down without the competition of lean muscle mass coming up, okay? That is a strategy. It's not my primary, it's not my favorite choice, but it is one way if, as I said at the top of this broadcast, if your number one only priority is to get the scale moving, and for some people, that is a very critical consideration, okay? So in that case, I recommend 2 to 3 strength training workouts per week. Specifically, there's the way that you do those strength training workouts, and that's what I'm all about, because your programming is everything. So on the blog today, hollyperkins.com/blog, I'm giving you guys access to a free workout that does just that. If you fall under this category where you just want to be doing the bare minimum of strength training so that you can get the scale moving, okay? Some other considerations that are valuable if you fall under this category. This is the time when things like circuit training can be very beneficial, or any kind of high repetition, low weight load workouts where you're able to keep your heart rate up, okay? And that philosophy is very counter to what I normally preach. Normally what I preach is low intensity workouts where the weight is a bit heavier, where you take rest in between sets, where you're not doing a lot of supersetting, where you're not doing a lot of circuit training. That approach I'll talk about in a moment for the other category. But right now what we're talking about is for those of you guys that it's just optimally critical that you lose weight on the scale. This is the time when it's a great idea for circuit training. keeping your heart rate up, supersetting, moving around, circuit training type classes where you're on machines, and doing that with higher repetitions, slightly lower weight loads, and looking at only two, maybe 3 workouts per week can help move the scale downward. And so I'm going to say it one more time for those of you guys that are just kind of like hopping in. That is a strategy if you fall under that category. Now, I really prefer and hope to guide people in the direction of more of a long-term, lifelong approach. And so if a client comes to me and I have the opportunity to work with them for a year or longer on their journey, then I always will have you strength training as much as possible. I believe, especially for women, you need to have as much muscle on you as you can possibly get, because muscle is so valuable. It will change your life in such big ways. And you know, we talk a lot about how Cindy's body has changed so much in the years that she's been working with me, and like we see the visual change, but you know, we haven't talked a lot about like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you have more muscle on you? Do you feel stronger?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
And do you notice it in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's say, for instance, when I pick up my clients off the ground.
Yeah.
Like literally pick
Yeah.
them up. I think I told you once.
Yeah.
I picked off one of my male clients who's like 6 feet something. Fucking huge. Anyway, I picked him up and I pick him up like nothing, you know, and it's like, holy shit. I was like, I didn't think you were that strong. I'm like, I didn't really use that much effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely stronger. It's like when I'm, like yesterday I was at Trader Joe's and I got a bunch of heavy groceries. And the guy was like, are you sure this isn't too heavy for you? I was like, no. I was like, are you just trying to walk me to my car? I was like, no, dude, I got this. I don't lift weights for no reason. But yeah, but I do feel stronger. I feel like I have a lot more energy. When I don't have aches, or I really don't feel like I don't have aches and pains on my knees anymore. Yeah. Especially when I was running, but then I fixed my issue, but I still have other things that I need to fix. But I do feel a lot better, guys.
Yeah. It's big, and ultimately we will all be better and feel better with the more muscle we can put on our body. So I'm a proponent of the other category, which we're going to talk about now. So what we're talking about is like really real. What is your goal? Is it that you just want to see the scale go down, or is it that you want all of these other benefits that you get from strength training? And if so, that's when you don't want to weigh yourself as often. Maybe you look at the scale once a week or once a month, right? If you, because I know there are people, probably the majority of my followers are in the category where their primary goal is to get stronger, leaner, tighter, smaller, more athletic, healthier. They want all the benefits of strength training. And yes, they'd like to lose 10 pounds, right? That's a lot of the women inside of the comeback. It's like you want, the primary goal is not weight loss, but you also do want to lose 10 pounds, right? That's a lot of people, especially in my community. And so in that case, I really do lean into and encourage taking 2 to 3 months of dedicated, consistent, relentless strength training where your goal is to actually increase your lean muscle mass. And then from there, at that about 2.5 to 3 months, at that point, then the body fat starts to come off and the scale starts to come down. And then what you do is you use that and you keep going for the rest of your life, okay? So what we did recently this year, which is super cool, the comeback, my group coaching program used to be a 3-month program, and we would start and we would stop at twice a year, and we would do it for 3 months. But what I realized, the revelation I had is, I don't want you to treat your health and fitness programming in 3-month packages. I want this to be a lifelong endeavor. I want this to be, this is what you do for the rest of your life. And that is why we turned the comeback into an open enrollment, always live, always ongoing program. So once you join the comeback, you're in forever. So like Janet, who chimed in earlier here on Facebook, she has already completed her first 3 months, but she's staying in the program. We've got a lot of women like that, actually. They stay in the program, and it becomes this lifelong journey. And that is really my priority and my goal for everyone. Even if you do have 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds to lose, what you do is you take 3 or 4 months and you forego the scale and you lay the foundation of muscle building. And then from there, you keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you keep making more and more progress. And what happens is you will literally have an unlimited ability to decrease your body fat when you do it this way. Whereas the first version I was talking about, it's limited, but doing it the way that I'm a proponent of, it's a lifelong ability to constantly change your body. I'm going to shut up for a moment. Questions and comments so far?
Janet said she wants to get stronger, maybe see more definition.
So weight loss really isn't a goal, right? Did she say anything else?
No, that was it for that.
So I'm curious, Janet, if you're still with us, if that's your goal, why do you weigh yourself each morning? I'm curious.
She said it was. She said
it was a habit.
It was more of a habit thing.
So Janet, I want to challenge you. Okay, I want you to think about this. Think about giving up that scale. I know it's just a habit, but here's the thing: if you're not really using it as a metric, some really important, incredible changes can happen inside of you if you just let go of that scale and stop weighing yourself. And any of that mental energy that might have gone into the scale, I want you to redirect it into new sentencing in your brain that says, what was it she said her goals were? To get stronger?
Get stronger and more definition.
More definition.
See more
okay?
definition.
So in the morning, instead of getting up and weighing yourself, get up, look in the mirror and say, my goal is to get stronger and more defined.
Ooh.
Complete energy shift. And I know, guys, that sounds a little woo, and I know that sounds like a little technical, but the brain is insanely sophisticated, beyond what any of us know. I know you guys have heard the statistics where it's like our subconscious brain is like 90% of what the brain does, and we're only operating on like 10% of our brain. So if you're getting up in the morning and you're weighing yourself, your subconscious brain is noting that, right? Is noting that there's some importance around seeing what the number on the scale is, or there is some feedback mechanism. If you take that out completely and you start telling your brain, my goal is to get stronger and more defined, Janet, it's going to happen a whole lot faster. You start doing that every single morning, it becomes a mantra. So instead of looking down at the scale and going, oh, 137.5 or whatever, you don't do that. You look in the mirror and you go, I am going to get strong and defined, or my goal is to become stronger. I want to be more defined. Do that every single day. Check back with me in about 2 or 3 weeks and you're going to see some major changes in your body.
Yes, I'm going to do that too. Let's do it, Janet. Let's
For
do it
real.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, send me a message. We're going to keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Right? Because why let go of that useless energy if you're not trying to lose weight, if it doesn't matter? Sure, if you want to check once a month or every now and then, right? And I mean, this really does apply for everybody, but that's what we're talking about. This is why the new rules of weight loss when strength training, because the more serious you guys are about your strength training, and I know Jana is, she's very serious about her strength training. The more serious about your strength training, and I define more serious by 3 challenging workouts a week or more. So it's 3 hard workouts or 4 hard to moderate workouts a week. The scale doesn't matter. What?
Look, she said, because years ago when I lost 40 pounds on low carb, it was fun to watch the scale go down every day.
Yeah.
Now it's a habit.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Do it. Because it's a drug. And it is. It's like an adrenaline hit when you see that scale go down. For most women, right? From almost all women I know. It's so fun. I don't know why. We could have a whole live with Holly about that. That shit drives me bonkers. We are obsessed with feeling skinny. I was on Pinterest the other day because I've created my vision board on Pinterest. And I was looking up certain things, like a lot of fashion stuff. Why is everybody so damn skinny? It's like drilled into us that we're supposed to be skinny, to be beautiful, and all this bullshit, right? I'm on a diatribe, I know, but I'm driving this point home for Janet. So she lost 40 pounds doing low carb, and it was like every day so fun that she saw that scale come down, right? But that's old programming, Janet. Get rid of it, because you have taken that weight off and you've kept it off. You have already won, Janet. That is done. You've succeeded. So it's time now to go after new goals and shift what you want, right? And if you start getting, because listen, I would love to know how long you've been weighing yourself every morning. I would love to know, because I know your 40-pound weight loss was before I've come to know you, and I've known you about a year, probably, right?
More than a year.
So that must be a year at least you've been weighing yourself every single day. There's a part of your brain that is associating you weighing yourself with that 40-pound weight loss. Your brain is waking you up expecting to see weight loss on the scale, because that's what you did to get the 40 pounds off, right? Mm-hmm. And so literally your brain is subconsciously thinking that your goal is to lose weight, but it's not. And that, I'm telling you guys, the brain is powerful shit. It is going to disrupt you on some level. Get rid of it and start focusing on, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to be defined, and let us know next week what starts happening. I love this. And this is exactly what we're talking about. So,
and she said 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Let's break this habit.
We're doing it.
For those of you guys that are with me right now, please chime in. I have a challenge for all of you, and I mean it.
Somebody else said they were going to do it too.
Do it.
Fernanda Riata said she's going to do it.
Do it.
She said, oops, 20 years ago.
20 years? You've been weighing yourself every single day for 20 years.
Oh, no, Janet. We can't change that, girlfriend.
Let's change that. That is a drug programming hit on your brain every single day. And that's not where you are anymore. Let's change your body and get you stronger. And I guarantee you start doing this, I think you're going to be surprised that your squats are going to get better. Your glutes are going to start to grow. Your back is probably going to hurt you less, because each day the focus becomes, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more defined, and it will happen like magic. Power of manifestation, which I am all about.
Next comment. Karen Capara said, athlete and age gracefully, need mass yet to stay lean. Lean.
See, and Karen, for you guys, I know a little bit about Karen. Karen's a bikini competitor. So Karen, we might put some weight on you. I hope we do, because you're already lean, right? And so my goal would be, let's put 2 or 3 pounds on you. And then if we have to take the body fat off, you've got the muscle to take it off. Like, I am so excited to get to work with you, and I'm hoping we can share your story with everybody, because in my head, I've got it wired that it's going to be an incredible story. And just to fill you guys in on the blanks, Karen and I we're aiming to work together in January to really change her physique for her next bikini competition. And what I have planned is going to be super exciting. I hope we can bring that to fruition. But if we do, Karen, you're going to be that story where it's like, you're probably also programmed to think you got to bring your body fat down. But I think if we add 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 pounds of muscle on you, you use it to take the body fat off, and then it's a piece of cake. So same thing, Karen, I hope you're not weighing yourself every single day, because that is no longer your primary mantra. Your primary mantra isn't scale related. And so that's what we're trying to get at for all of you guys. I'm going to share a story with you guys, a personal story that I've shared a couple times here on Live with Holly. But if you're new to me here on Live with Holly, please say hi. Please chime in. Give me some love. I could use it. And I'm going to share a story just in case some of you guys haven't heard the story. But there was a time, I think it was last year. Let me get all my facts straight. I can't remember how this went. I think it was last year. It was after I stopped eating dairy and grains. I lost a bunch of weight. Just by stopping dairy and grains, I lost like 15 pounds, okay? I was also really riding my macros hardcore. So I was doing hardcore macros at 50, 25, 25, and I cut out dairy and grains. I lost 15 pounds like that. It was almost all inflammation. Then there was a phase I started rebuilding my body and I started adding a bit more muscle on. And shortly thereafter, I woke up one day and Cindy kept being like, you look skinny, you look skinny, you look skinny. And I was like, I feel skinny. My jeans are really big. I feel skinny. And I'm like, let's go weigh me. Because I hadn't weighed myself since I lost the 15 pounds, right? So I hadn't weighed myself, let's say, in months. And so I still had my bathroom scale in there, and we went and we weighed. And in my head, as I was getting on the scale, I was expecting it to say like 120 pounds. Because that's what I felt like. That's how my clothes were fitting. I felt 120 pounds skinny, right? And that scale was like 126 or 127. It was 7 pounds heavier than what I thought I was. And that was the day we got rid of the scale. That was the day I literally laughed out loud. What is that? Is that Halloween candy?
No.
What is that?
Reese's?
What is that?
It's a Reese's.
A Reese's peanut butter cup?
Yeah.
Where did you get this? She has a Reese's peanut butter cup. Where did this come from? I'm not going to eat it. I just wanted to smell it to decide if I wanted to eat it. What is it? Like a bar? It's not a peanut butter cup.
It was
like a Reese's
pumpkin, yeah.
Oh, Reese's Halloween pumpkin. My Lord. See what she does to me? I'm not going to do it though.
I did it on purpose.
Because I got my goals. My goal, I don't think I'm going to eat any Halloween candy this Halloween. I was someplace yesterday and they had it and I looked at it and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Back on track. So that was the day that, like, I literally laughed. I was like, that is hilarious and absurd and ridiculous because I know I'm skinny. I think I'm 120 pounds skinny, but that's just scales that I'm 127 because of muscle. And so I was like, you know what? It just doesn't matter. I'm happy with where I am. I feel good. My goals have nothing to do with the scale anymore, and I would love that for everyone. And when I say that, I really do want that for everyone. And I also honor you if you need to lose 50, 60, 100 pounds. You do need to lose the weight because then it's a function of your health. If you are more than 30 pounds overweight, we gotta take the weight off because you are more at risk for diabetes, stroke, hypertension, cancer, heart disease, all of these things, osteoarthritis. You are more at risk if you are more than 30 pounds overweight. And I do want to help you lose the weight. But from a psychology perspective, I want us all to be approaching it from, don't worry about the scale, right? And so you check in every now and then to make sure the weight's coming off. But it's so much more fun when your goals are, I want to feel good, I want energy, I want stronger glutes, I want better flexibility, I want to be more athletic, I want to be able to do more. That is a whole lot more fun.
Find Peace with Food here on Instagram.
Megan
Said strength and feeling fit without killing myself with crazy workouts.
Amen there.
And she said, oh, Holly, prayers for you, for your mom and you.
Thank you.
Woods Girl 5 said, my goal is to gain major muscle mass.
I love it.
And she also asked, would the next step after hard gainer be radical transformation?
Yes, absolutely. And you could also consider doing the glutes project. For sure, because the glutes project is a little harder than radical transformation in a different way. They're compatible, but it's a little harder. So if you're like really wanting to build up your glutes and your lower body, consider the glutes project. But yes, radical transformation is one of my favorite programs. For those of you guys that know me or don't know me, radical transformation is the 4-day per week hardest program in my book, Lift to Get Lean. And she just finished Hard Gainer, which is a 3-day per week. So yes, radical transformation is 4. Do it.
Samantha Adams, how are you supposed to adjust your calories without knowing your weight?
That's a good point. And therefore, if you do fall into that category, I don't know where your weight is right now, Samantha, but if you're in that category where you do need to lose weight, because I know at one point we wanted to take some weight off of you. If you are still really wanting to take the weight off, you are going to have to check in once a month, once every 2 weeks. I would say once a month to see where your weight is. Every 10 pounds you recalculate. So what you do is you take your current body weight and you multiply it by that number. Guys, Samantha is part of the comeback as well. So she has the handbook and the comeback. So I'm talking some short code to her, but she's going to know what it means. So take your current body weight, multiply it by the number that you want. I think it's 11. Is it 11, 12, and 15? 11, 13, 15?
11, 12, 15.
11, 12, 15.
10, 15, 12.
We'll figure that out. And that's what, once, will you remind me, once this new version is done, I want to print it.
I think it's 10, 12, 15.
10, 12, 15. See if you can find it real quick and we'll clarify that. Doesn't really matter. It's a little bit of short code for you guys, but Samantha, pick your multiplier. Get your calories, okay? Then wait a month and check in on your weight. Every 10 pounds you recalculate. So then when the 10 pounds come off, you take your current body weight times that same number again, and it's gonna adjust your calories, okay? So you should be able to do that once a month.
10, 13, 15.
10, 13, 15. So Samantha, I think for you, it's probably 10, but it might be 13, okay? Depending on the instructions I give you inside of the Comeback Handbook guidelines. So like once a month. So, you know, what you could do for good psychology, put your scale in a closet, and then the first of every month you weigh yourself. Or maybe you do it every 6 weeks or every 2 months, right? It really depends on what feels good to you. And guys, listen, you know, I know that in some ways I'm kind of bashing the scale because I think that applies for most people. But like I said, there was a time for me that I'm able to weigh myself and I don't have any emotional unrest because of it. It's just a number that gives me feedback. And so if you are chiming in with me right now and you're in that category, use the scale because it is great feedback. So the problem is I don't want people to be trying to lose weight and then they get discouraged when the scale doesn't go down. That is a big fat problem. I have a client who's on a weight loss journey. She'll make incredible progress. We'll be losing weight. It'll be showing on the scale. And then all of a sudden she'll check the scale and it will stall out and she'll get really discouraged and she gives up all of her efforts. That can't happen. I don't want that to happen. So as long as your attitudes are healthy, when you see those numbers on the scale, use it. And I could do that. It just doesn't matter to me anymore at all. Other questions and comments?
Healthy Geekster said, what if the body fat machine doesn't move either? Should I not look at that either?
Depending on the body fat machine you're using. So, okay, quick little body fat machine tutorial for you guys. In my opinion, no, in fact, in good best practices, the only way to measure your body fat that's real accurate is either a bod pod, which is called air displacement.
She's using the handheld one.
Or a hydrostatic weighing. Those are the only two that are really accurate. The next closest accurate is the skin calipers, which Megan's not using, but I don't even trust that one either because it depends on the person, the practitioner. Okay. All the other ones, which are considered bioelectrical impedance, where you're holding something or you're standing on something, what that's doing is it's sending an electrical signal through your body, okay? And it measures the time. The time tells the machine what your body fat is. Those are about a 10% margin of error because they are highly dependent on how hydrated you are. The more hydrated you are, the slower it's gonna go. I believe that's the way it is. And if you're less hydrated, the faster it goes. So your body fat reading is going to be dependent on how hydrated you are, and our hydration levels fluctuate like crazy. So I don't love those machines. So I would say, Megan, I would encourage...
No, that was Healthy Geekster.
Oh, that was Healthy Geekster. So sorry. Healthy Geekster. I would encourage you... Personally, I don't pay attention to those machines at all. When a client calls me and they're like, this is what the reading was on the bioelectrical impedance, I'm like, in one ear, out the other. It doesn't matter. What you could do is check your local listings to see, do you have a bod pod? It's inexpensive, and you could test that every 6 months because then it's accurate. Or I vote circumferences, measuring yourself with a tape measure is one of the most accurate. Or how do your clothes fit? You know how your jeans are going to feel when they're freshly washed, when you're smaller or larger, right? And that doesn't ever lie as long as you're testing the jeans when they're freshly washed, right?
LJ.
Yay!
I'm not a weigher, but
yeah.
Started with the comeback.
Okay.
Now I have to weigh in regularly to make sure my weight isn't isn't getting too low. What?
Yes, correct.
What? The muscle is at work.
Yeah.
And then Janet said, you guys have me laughing out loud, shaming my weigh-ins. And then Karen Capara said, I don't get on the scale. I have totally pulled back on my cardio.
Okay.
And I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Boo. Huffing and puffing.
Oh, I see. Wait. Does that mean she's feeling it, meaning she's feeling fluffier?
Maybe.
Must
she said,
be.
Boo. Huffing and puffing after putting that weight up.
Yes.
Not that conditioning.
Got it. I
Need
see.
that conditioning.
Yes, because you're not getting the conditioning. Listen, honey, you could still be doing some cardio. I just don't want you doing a ton of it. So consider 30 minutes or even 20 minutes at a higher heart rate. We don't want you doing a lot of cardio, okay? But you can still do some.
Samantha Adams, I've gained it all back.
Okay.
Sad face.
That's okay.
I'm going to do the comeback with you guys in a couple of weeks.
Good.
I know my first week of the comeback, I dropped 10 pounds.
I know.
And then she said, the scale will ruin my whole entire day when I check it in the morning.
So listen, let's do this. I'm so excited you're going to do it again. And this message to all of you guys that are on the roller coaster, it's so normal to make progress and then backtrack. I did it for 40 years. For real, I did it for 40 years, okay? I didn't get my body together, guys, until at 40. And every year since it's been a roller coaster, but that's okay. I didn't really get it down until 40, and it's normal for all of us to fall back and then gain ground. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back means you're still 1 step forward. So Samantha, get ready for 2 more steps forward. I'm so excited you're going to do the comeback with us again. What I want you to do is weigh yourself when we start, then weigh yourself once a month, and that's it. And you put, just like I shared with Janet, I want you putting all your mental energy into positive mantras each day of, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting leaner, I'm getting more athletic, and I am learning new skills for the rest of my life. Samantha, honey, for you, this is about laying the foundation for the rest of your life. This isn't about taking off 20 pounds or 30 pounds. When we start this in November, this is about you laying those steps and that foundation to go forever so that you will, on this long journey, the weight will come off, okay? And every single day, I want you to forget that scale because it is not your priority right now, okay? The weight will come off as long as we keep you healthy in your mind and we keep you consistent going forward.
Lisa Alexander.
Hi.
What about DEXA scan, body fat scan?
Yes, DEXA scan is fantastic. DEXA is the gold standard. DEXA is really... I think it's a 1% margin of error, if there's any margin of error on a DEXA. And that's what all the medical institutions use. A, they're hard to find, and B, they're very expensive. And Lisa, if you happen to know of anybody who's doing DEXA scans at a reasonable price, let me know. But I don't think they are. I think it's very pricey. It's very hard to find. It is the gold standard, but nobody really has access to it. Bod pods, on the other hand, are 3% margin of error. The difference is only 2% margin of error. 3% is a very small margin of error. And I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, and you can find bod pods throughout the country. Here in Los Angeles, I think it was $50 for me to go check my body fat. So that's the only thing I use. And it might be more expensive here, but if you just do a Google search for bod pod in your local area, you'll be able to find out. And bod pod, okay, bye guys on Instagram. I'll see you next week. Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Bod pod and hydrostatic weighing are the same margin of error. So some people still have dunk tanks in their communities, but I don't want to go get wet and get in a stinky dunk tank and put my head under the water if I can just go sit in a bod pod. So I'm a huge fan of bod pod, which is air displacement, which is the same as hydrostatic weighing, which is air displacement. They're just doing it. They're weighing you in water versus in a little egg that you sit inside.
And then last one from Samantha Adams. It's just hard being a single mom and working crazy. It's easier to stop, except I start feeling like complete shit.
Yeah, it is, honey. And I know it is so hard. You have that situation in your life where it quite possibly is the most challenging, right? And it is going to be hard for real. And you're right, you got to do something because otherwise you don't feel so good. And so even if we can just get you making several really permanent positive changes going forward, they're just going to start to stockpile and you're going to get better each time. And so I'm excited that you're going to do it again because you might actually learn some new strategies this second time around. What I want to leave you with right now, Samantha, is I want you to take a moment, and if you can write it in a journal, it would be really good. I want you to write down all of the positive behaviors and habits that you have adopted as a result of doing the comeback with us. There might only be one, there might be 50, I don't know. But I want you to write down how you are different today and the positive changes that have stuck since doing the comeback with us. Because I know there are some. It could be you're drinking more water. It could be you're more conscious. Well, I already know you're already more conscious about your diet because you just mentioned it, right? So any positive change that is stuck with you, I want you to celebrate it. I want you to honor it. I want you to really look at it because now when we come back and we do it again, we're going to add some more positive behaviors on top of everything that you've already learned. This is how I started changing my own body 20 years ago. It started one thing each day, and I just literally collected a bunch of really positive behaviors. And all these years later, they've added up. And like I said, I didn't really hit my best body until 40. And it was because I collected a whole bunch of these great habits, and they all just added up one day. And the same can work for you. Awesome, guys. Thank you for being here. So fun. We will be here next week with another awesome topic. And if you like this, if you know another woman who needs this information, please share me with your friends, with your sisters, with your moms, with your daughters, with your girlfriends, with your cousins, with your coworkers. Please share me. Share this video, send them a link, tag them below, go to my blog, send them a link to my blog. Please share me because I really want to get this message out and help more women. I'll see you guys next week.